Holy hell.
Okay, next game.
How much of this did you watch?
Pretty much the entire thing. I'm watching like 6 games at a time when you have the schedule that we had tonight, right? I have
Yeah.
Mizzou Auburn going, I have Holy War going, I have Tennessee Bama going. I watched, the first half ish of Oregon Rutgers. That got out of control very quickly. Speaking of Anchorman, right? It escalated very quickly.
It did.
I was watching 6 to 11 games at any given time, just cycling through the quad box and then through the main screen. So I watched a good amount of this.
CJ Carr was not good for Notre Dame. He was not.
In the rain.
In the rain. I mean, the rain picked up the deeper this game went. He seemed pretty keyed up early, was not accurate making his throws. I can imagine if you are out there tuning in for this game, maybe you're a USC fan, maybe you're just a college football fan who appreciates a good rivalry. Hearing all of this hubbub about CJ Carr and watching this version of CJ Carr and sort of shrugging like, that's it. That's what we're getting. This was about the worst we've seen of CJ Carr. I don't know if it was quite on the same level as the Miami game earlier in the year or not, but this was not a good showing for him. Where Notre Dame really earned its keep was on the ground. Between Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, 44 carries, 306 yards, 7 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it was Jeremiah Love leading the way at 228 on the ground. He got the majority of the work. Jadarian Price at 87. Jadarian Price also had a long kickoff return for a touchdown that sort of gave the momentum back to Notre Dame after USC appeared as if they were going to start taking the lead and maybe distancing themselves a little bit. So I thought this was a clunker masquerading as a bit of a shootout, is what I said to you. Because even though there were elements of Notre Dame's offense that were really effective, USC was able to move the ball pretty well on them. USC's offense is still a real deal. They were able to move the ball pretty well on them. I thought pretty much everybody outside of Leonard Moore in the secondary had a really hard time keeping up with those USC wide receivers. Jacoby Lane had a really good game, 6 for 111. Even Mekhi Lemon got in on the action. Had one long run where he kind of got some separation from Leonard Moore, who was on him most of the game. But to me, this brought up a real question about the Notre Dame defense against better offenses. This might be the best they play all year. I don't know where it goes from here.
Right.
So maybe this is an extreme example.
We'll see what happens with Stanford, Florida State. Continue.
See what happens with the dreaded Cardinal. But, I thought this was a really interesting test for this defense. And they were probably aided by the fact there was some weather to tamp things down. They definitely were able to confuse Jade Mayava, put him in some interesting situations where he had to make throws that I don't think he would have normally make. So I thought, as a Notre Dame fan, my takeaway was, first off, phew, that could have gone a different direction. Secondly, I come away happy that they won, but at the same time feeling like this was a little bit of an uneven performance. There were too many penalties. They gave up too much defensively against a really good offense. CJ Carr in a big game, like this does beg the question, bigger games moving forward. Is he going to be this keyed up? Is he going to get better? I sense he will, but this was just not a great showing for him. And ultimately, you want the win. You win your clunker. That's why I'm wearing win your clunker. I believe that. This was kind of a clunker. It just didn't look like it if you looked at the final scoreboard. So a nice win for sure. And I thought USC acquitted itself really well, all things considered. But this was, I feel that, Dan. I really do.
That's okay.
I came away feeling pretty impressed by USC. But ultimately, what impressed me the most and what impressed everybody the most was 300 yards on the ground for Notre Dame.
Did asking your star receiver to throw a pass in pouring rain and have him fumble the ball impress you?
No, I'm not talking about the coaching.
Okay.
I am almost like separating out the coaching decisions from the performances we saw out there. Like Jaden Mayava is not a perfect quarterback, but Jaden Mayava is pretty good.
Yeah.
Most teams across college football.
Well,
would take Jaden
I think
Allen.
he's legit. I think he's
Yeah, I think he's
legitimately
very,
good.
very good.
He's not a perfect quarterback. He forced throws. The play calling was kind of all over the place for USC. Couldn't really run the ball consistently. Now, obviously, USC is down, I think, 2 starting offensive linemen. They're starting
Yeah.
left tackle and center. They're down their first 2 running backs in Wayman Jordan and Eli Sanders. And obviously, King Miller was very good. Was it Brian Jackson who stepped in as well?
Yeah.
They have good players. The best of Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane is excellent. Lake McCree had a great touchdown catch. I don't know if you thought his toe was down. It looked like it was down to me early on.
They just sort of panned it.
They went through it and they just
like, his toe was down.
Yeah.
Okay, like it was close, right? It was at least close, and everybody just sort of like went with it. Okay.
There were definitely moments where CJ Carr looked like a 7-5 quarterback. There were definitely moments where Notre Dame needed to get lucky to move beyond terrible kicking. It definitely looked like moments where Notre Dame desperately needed Jadarian Price to return that kickoff for a touchdown because the offense was sort of all over the place. I wouldn't go as far as saying winning your clunkers, because when you have a running back just explode through a defense like Jeremiah Love did, you're not cobbling together a win with duct tape and chicken wire.
No, listen.
So
the ground game was there for them all day.
Yeah.
All day. And they were the dominant team in the trenches.
Yeah.
Okay. So this could just be me catastrophizing a little bit.
Yeah.
As somebody who follows this team and is always terrified of this football game. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
Okay. I talked about it on the preview episodes. You know how I feel about this USC rivalry. USC always gives Notre Dame a game. It's always going to be a tight game for as long as they play the rivalry.
Yeah.
They had it on the ground. They obviously took advantage of that.
Made plays on defense.
They did make plays on defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Notre Dame speed up just like USC is. Yeah.
There were also other elements of the defense that definitely left me a bit underwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, despite the fact that Christian Gray got like 5 pass interference calls in this game or whatever the hell it was, he did come away with 2 interceptions.
Yeah. Or 2
right.
picks. Yeah.
So it's sort of, as I say, it's a little bit uneven to me how I feel coming out of this win. But ultimately, you will take it. Because what I think we're going to find on the USC front moving forward, Notre Dame doesn't have a whole lot left on their schedule.
Yeah.
But USC has a road game against Nebraska coming up.
Oh, man.
They've got a road game against Oregon coming up. They close out the year against the behemoth that is the UCLA Bruins. Right?
Where's that game being played? Obviously, it's in Los Angeles, but whose stadium?
I don't have it here.
Okay, I'll look it up while you're talking.
You can look it up. But my point is that just because USC loses a game like this, we should not count them out. We should not count them out. I don't know what the upward mobility looks like at this point. I don't know what they're going to end up ranked, but I think this is a damn good team. They've only got 2 losses now, and they've got a schedule in front of them that puts them in some interesting situations.
Yeah.
I'm not overly confident about that Oregon game, second to last game of the year, but I think they've got the offense to go toe-to-toe with just about anybody. And when you've got that, almost anything can happen. So I came away very impressed with USC, not always with the coaching.
Yeah.
I came away impressed with how Notre Dame used its ground game to its advantage, though there were other aspects of their overall play that definitely left me a bit down.
Remember, you cannot count USC out until they arrive at LAX to check in. At that point.
Okay.
Hold on. How they been on the road under Lincoln Riley?
I get it.
How they been?
I get it.
Okay. Just making sure.
I get it.
Wait until they get to LAX. Wait until they buy some peanut M&Ms. Not a sponsor, could be. In the Hudson News.
I get it.
Then you count them out.